Hey, this is Tad, mortgage agent in Toronto, and this is a pre-approval budget video. This is an example of the budgets I do for my clients based on their situation after reviewing their documents. So here's the scenario for this video. First off, there are two borrowers, and they've been pre-approved for a max purchase price amount of $1.1 million. The total budget they have for both the down payment and closing costs is $250,000. One of the borrowers is a first-time home buyer. They're looking to buy a house in Markham, Ontario. They want to get a mortgage with a 3-year fixed term, and they're curious about what their costs might be if they got a high ratio mortgage. So to show them today, we've got that high ratio to show them, plus 3 conventional options with different purchase prices. Now, we're going to start at the top here, work our way down, and I'm going to explain each point as we go. First off, the amortization. So this is the total amount of time that borrowers will have to repay the loan. For the high ratio, it'll be 25 years, and for the 3 conventionals, it'll be 30. Next, we have the annual mortgage rate. So these are just estimates based on the current market, and they are subject to change at any time. Once the borrower finds a property and puts an offer on it, then I'll be able to find them a lender with the best mortgage and lowest interest rate for their situation. Moving on, we get to the first-time homebuyer status. Like I mentioned earlier, one of the borrowers is a first-time homebuyer, so they should be able to qualify for a partial rebate on their land transfer tax. Now we get to the property taxes. So these are just estimates after looking at multiple properties in Markham for houses in the $1 million range. To finish off the first section, we have the property location, which is in Ontario. Now we're going to get to the mortgage breakdown. First off, the purchase price. In the high ratio option, this will be their max purchase price amount of just under $1 million. This is because to get a high ratio mortgage, it is one of the criteria to qualify for one. The purchase price has to be less than $1 million. As soon as it's at $1 million, then it automatically becomes a conventional, and the borrower has to put a down payment of at least 20%, which is what we have in the second column here at $1 million, just $1 more. For the third and fourth columns here, we have the borrower's max pre-approved amount of $1.1 million. Cool. Now we get to the down payment. First off, this would be the borrower's minimum down payment requirement on this purchase price with the high ratio option. Next, for the second, we have a 20% down payment on that $1 million. Third, we got a 20% down payment on the borrower's max purchase price. And for the last option, we have the borrower's maximum down payment amount on their max purchase price while still staying within that $250,000 maximum budget. Now we get to the mortgage insurance premium. So what is this? Well, when a borrower is getting a high ratio mortgage, the lender will purchase mortgage loan insurance and pass the cost of this insurance on to the borrower. The cost of the insurance is called the premium, and the amount will vary on the down payment. The lower the down payment, the higher the premium will be. Because the borrowers in this situation would be committing the minimum down payment requirement, their premium would be much higher. For the conventional options, there's no premium because conventional mortgages cannot get mortgage loan insurance. Now we get to the total mortgage amount. So this will be the borrower's total mortgage amounts, and the calculations are pretty simple, especially for the conventionals, which is just purchase price minus down payment equals total mortgage amount. However, the high ratio, it's going to be a bit different. Now, there are 2 ways to pay off the mortgage insurance premium. Option 1, the borrowers can pay it off in a lump sum before the closing date, separate from the closing costs, or, which is what we're going to do in this case, add it to the loan amount, which is going to increase the total mortgage. So for this calculation here, it's going to be purchase price minus the down payment, whatever that amount is, plus the premium equals total mortgage amount. Now we're going to get to the closing costs. First off is the down payment, which we had above. We have an estimate of legal fees, tax on those legal fees, an estimate of an appraisal fee, the land transfer tax with that partial rebate already applied. We have tax on the mortgage insurance premium, which doesn't apply to anyone but the high ratio, and a buffer of $1,000 just in case some costs are higher than expected at the closing date. So that's going to lead us to the borrower's total closing costs to buy the property at these amounts here. Cool, so we're almost finished. Now we get to the household budget breakdown. First off is the monthly mortgage payment. So this will be the borrower's payments per month for the length of that 3-year term. And we have the property taxes, which is this 4,500 divided by 12. Adding those two together, we have the borrower's total home expenses of these amounts for owning the property. All right, so now we're going to do a bit of a comparison for the borrowers between the high ratio and conventional option here, and we're going to give them some points to consider. So I'm going to move my face, press this button, and we got notes. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do first is compare the closing costs here. First, we're going to round this 95,905 to 96,000, and we're going to round this 217,946 to 218,000. 218 minus 96 equals 122,000. So this means if the borrowers chose the high ratio option to buy the property, they would save roughly $122,000 on the closing costs. Now we're going to move to the mortgage payments. First off, the borrowers are going to be paying about $1,000 more per payment if they chose the high ratio option. Since their term is 36 months, we're going to multiply that extra $1,000 by 36 equals giving us $36,000. This means if the borrowers did choose the high ratio option, they would have paid $36,000 more than if they would have chosen the conventional option at the end of that 3-year term. So to summarize that, the borrowers initially save $122,000, but they'll pay about $36,000 more than the conventional option by the end of the term. But we're going to give the borrowers a bit more perspective on that. So first off, we're going to take that $122,000 saved minus the $36,000 extra that's the high ratio would pay, and we get $86,000. So what does this mean? This means that even though they are paying $36,000 more by the end of that 3-year term, they would still have $86,000 remaining also at the end of that term. All right, so we've given the borrowers different scenarios, estimates of costs, and some points to consider. Now the borrowers can connect with their realtor and they can go looking at homes. Any properties that they like, they can send me the property details and I'll create custom budgets with more scenario options and purchase price and down payment scenarios for each property. This way, the borrower will have a better understanding of what their costs might be if they choose to buy that property. All right, so that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Take care.